Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Doc Talk. My name is Sandy McClure out of Creede, Colorado, a tiny little town in the San Juan Mountains. And I've got with me tonight an incredible guest who's going to bring some fire and some understanding about the gut-brain axis that you may not really understand. I didn't understand it very much prior to this newest activator that we brought. On just back in October where we launched. But I'm telling you what, there is so much to this, and we cannot forget the impact of the activators that we've already had for years. Okay, this company is the activation company, over 15 years old, and Dr. Shaun McKee is going to bring so much understanding to what we are actually experiencing, not just with this GLP-1 activator, but with the other activators that help prep our bodies for that. So Shaun has an extensive background. And first of all, I want to thank you, Shaun, for your service, being in the Air Force. We appreciate you very much. I am just a big patriot, and I value and appreciate all of those people who fight for our freedom, for sure. And, I was interested to see all of your background. I knew that you were a fit woman, and I knew that you were, really active, but 2 Ironmans? Are you kidding me? And then also 2 ultra marathons and then 12 marathons. And I'm not even going to say regular marathons, because when I hear marathons, that's a lot. I love it. I've always been a coach and athlete myself, but this is just amazing. I think that it's interesting that your husband, is in the medical field as well. And I'd like for you to share a little bit about that when you can. But 2 adult sons who are future attorneys, you guys are just really overachievers. And we know that your health has to be at the forefront to be able to get through all that. And of course, those 3 little dogs that you have, or maybe big, I'm not sure what size they are, but you said happy little dogs. I know that you have a passion for helping people, Shaun. One of the first questions I always ask on these doc talks is, what would someone with your credentials, seriously, what would someone with your credentials see in LifeVantage that would allow you to put your stamp on it? Welcome to the call. And if you could share that information to get us started, and a little bit of your background, we'd love that.
Yeah, I'd love to, Sandy, and thanks so much for hosting this call. It's such a great opportunity for people to learn and share just what these products are doing. So, I would have never thought that I would be doing something like this as well. When my friends would invite me to their, little Southern living at home parties, or their Pampered Chef parties, or their creative memories parties, I would go, and they would always say, you can be a consultant and save money. And if I really wanted a bunch of products, I would do it just to get the discount. But never thought of it as a viable, quote unquote, business. I already had the quote unquote best job in the world, or so I thought. And the only reason I took a look at it is that in my mid 40s, I began to feel like I was in my mid 50s or early 60s one day. And it kind of seemed like it came on all of a sudden, but I was just so painfully exhausted, and would hit the snooze button multiple times in the morning and fall asleep on the couch when sitting down to watch television with my family, or if we go to see a movie, I would not remember any of it because I was asleep during 90% of it. And my sweet husband suggested that maybe I should go see a doctor and get some labs drawn. So I did. And she put me on, because I was low in a lot of vitamins and minerals and hormones, she put me on her regimen of stuff. And I was taking a lot of pills every day, not really feeling any better. And when I went back to see her at my 6-month follow-up, she told me about the concept of, activating my body so that my body would make the things that get to the root cause and address and fix the root cause of why I was feeling old and exhausted. And I knew when she said, that what this did, which is, the flagship product, it reduces oxidative stress, which is the underlying cause of inflammation and everything that goes wrong with our bodies after age 20. I knew I would take it for the rest of my life. I didn't care if I felt anything with it or not. I knew oxidative stress is foundationally the problem, and I knew that I wanted to address it. So once I realized that this was something that was an answer to what people were praying for and nobody knew about it, and had my own story and my husband's story and my dog's story, my kid's story, I felt absolutely obligated to let people know that this existed, because this was a solution, that was sitting here with people all over the world praying for it. So, I didn't know that it would become something that was as big as it is. I love that it's, today I'm helping literally thousands of people get to the root cause of why they feel bad versus telling 20 to 40 people what's wrong with them, which is what I do as a neuroradiologist. I diagnose what is the problem with the brain or the spinal cord that's causing symptoms. And now I'm helping people get to the root cause of said issues. So,
Well, that's amazing. And I love it that you're talking about sleep. One of the things that for my husband, who does not need to lose weight, but has been hearing a lot about this new activator that we brought on board. And of course, he has no chance not to hear about it because I rave about it, talk about it, and I feel great. I know that he saw me feeling amazing and he wanted that too. Is he told me even today, Sandy, I miss those afternoon naps. He goes, I love those, and I just am not taking those. As long as I've known him, he's taken an afternoon nap and he thrives on that, and he is not doing that anymore.
you've stolen that from him.
And you know what? And as much as he says he misses it, he's just, I can't believe, because that is one thing he would never give up. And so that to me is huge. And I know that your husband, again, is in the medical field, and he's got, you're working on the brain and he's working on the gut and all of the things. So together, you guys probably have a lot of knowledge about this gut brain axis thing. So again, there's so much talk out there about the GLP-1, okay, which we now activate through our newest activator, that GLP-1 hormone. But before we get to that, can you tell us about our current activators, or the activators we had prior to that? A few of them. I know we could be on all night, but their role in the cellular health affecting the brain and the gut. You just talked about oxidative stress. And I know that oxidative stress damages cells, and damaged cells lead to disease. So if we could keep our cells from being damaged, why wouldn't we swallow a yellow pill every day? Would that simple to know that that would help? But I know that all of these other activators are setting us up for success. And one of the things that I heard you speak on before was the fat burn as well. You did such a great presentation on that. So I'm going to hand it over to you to kind of give these people who are on here tonight a little bit of background as to what's happening in their body and why it's led up to so much. Those of us who've been prepared and have activated prior to this new activator, GLP-1, why are we having such amplified results?
Yeah, well, great. I think those are excellent things to talk about. I will mention that my husband was very much against our coming out with a GLP-1 product because he equated it with what's out there on the market with the shots and the synthetics. And he kept saying, my clinic is full of patients who are having problems with that. Their GI system is messed up. They're feeling nauseous. They're having constipation. They're da da da. And I said, this is different. This is natural. It's turning on your own body's, pathways. And now he's slowly hearing stories from people that are like, having great success and feeling amazing, especially in their mental clarity. And so he's kind of turning around slowly but surely. And I did mention the reducing oxidative stress, which obviously, people who are healthy have oxidative stress. People who go see a gastroenterologist have more oxidative stress. So it gets to the root of the problem. And, activating, other pathways like mitochondria. Well, what do you think gets damaged first from that oxidative stress? It's the factory where the free radicals are being pumped out along with the energy. That's the mitochondria. So we have mitochondrial decline, breakdown, mitophagy, which is just the mitochondrial version of autophagy, which is cellular recycling. This is mitochondrial recycling. So, or breakdown. And now the cells, which are trying to do the work of 100% of the mitochondria, are doing it on maybe 80% of the mitochondria. It's not as efficient. There's more waste, more free radical damage, and it's a vicious cycle. You did mention that we have another product that you mentioned, fat burn, that it totally addresses it from a different way. It activates browning of white fat, which puts more mitochondria in the fat. And so you metabolically burn about 180 more calories, 181 to be precise, calories a day at rest. But I do think that having that cellular activation of your antioxidant, anti-inflammatory pathways, reducing that oxidative stress, improving the number of healthy mitochondria, that is going to set up the cells in your gut, your L cells that make the GLP-1 to be healthier so they function better. There's a saying, to be well, fix the cell, and I love how that dovetails in with the old, Socrates statement, health begins in the gut and all disease begins in the gut. So we have to have a healthy gut if we want to have the best function of our L cells. And in order to best receive that activation signal, the cellular environment has to be cleared. And that's where the NRF2, reducing oxidative stress, and the NRF1, increasing mitochondrial biogenesis, come in. The fat burn is just kind of like a little icing on the cake. It's another method of action to layer on to what we're doing with the GLP-1. And then, of course, we have pre and probiotics, which are critical for a healthy gut microbiome. You're going to provide the microbes to help the beneficial microbes actually take root and multiply, and then you're going to feed them with the prebiotic. We have a regular prebiotic that just favors the beneficial gut microbes. And then as part of our GLP-1 system, we have a specific prebiotic that feeds the specialized the specific microbiota that produce the short chain fatty acids that feed the gut L cells. So that was a long answer, but there were a lot of questions in that.
Well, there were, and you did touch on several. I didn't hear you say too much about the collagen. And I think that a lot of times people, when I mention collagen to them, they're first taken aback. They're like, now, Sandy, I'm not worried about wrinkles. Well, that isn't at first, again, as your husband said, he wasn't really excited about the GLP-1. When I heard about us bringing collagen in, and I should know better when it comes to LifeVantage, I should know that they've got plans way above beyond what I'm thinking. But I thought, really, we're kind of late to the party in collagen. And do we really need to put a focus on the hair, skin, and nails? But you know what? We all do end up with beautiful hair, skin, and nails. I'm 60. I feel like, my hair, skin, and nails, I get compliments all the time. But it's so far beyond that, the realm. And of course, coupled with NRF2, coupled with collagen, brings on a whole nother level of cellular health. And so I don't think that people understand that. Now, why are we talking about these things? Again, it's because we want to make sure that we're talking about really good, healthy gut. And of course, in your, again, respect, the gut, the brain, all the things working together. But can you touch on a little bit and be as elaborate as you want? Why are we suggesting that collagen be part of what you're doing right now as well?
Well, yeah, collagen is our body's most abundant protein, and it's super critical. Your skin, people think about collagen for your skin, but guess what the lining of your gut is? It's a specialized form of skin, because your gut is actually outside. The lumen of your gut is literally contiguous with the outside world. It comes out the front, out the back. It's all getting, input from the outside world. So it's covered with epithelial cells. And that, the tight junctions in the gut, the epithelial cells themselves need that collagen to be, abundant. And what I really love is that not only, the collagen is not just replacing collagen peptides. You can build collagen from a steak. You can build collagen from a fish fillet. You can build collagen from any, sets of amino acids. But what we're doing is turning on your body's mechanism, the 3 genes that make new collagen. And we're also turning down the destruction of collagen. So that is like a kind of a triple whammy tour de force to actually double your body's collagen content in 8 weeks. But when you take it with our NRF2 activator, there's something really special that happens. We knew something special was happening because we're getting anecdotal reports from people where we're like, whoop, this happened? What, that happened? Didn't expect that. So they literally bathed fibroblasts, which are the cells that make collagen, in a bath of collagen plus the NRF2. And they didn't test specific genes that they thought would be activated. They just did mRNA sequencing of all the genes that were activated. And what they found was that there are some specific inflammatory cytokines interleukin 1B, IL-1B, and interleukin 6, IL-6 in particular, that are downregulated in this combination uniquely by 97 and 88% respectively. That's huge. An inflamed gut is a gut that is not doing you any favors. You're not absorbing the nutrients. You're absorbing toxins. You're absorbing undigested foods. You're absorbing, you're producing LPS, lipopolysaccharides that are very toxic and inflammatory. So the key is to directly address the health of the gut through reducing the unhealthy stress signaling or inflammatory cytokines and the structural integrity of the gut epithelium.
Well, that's fascinating to me. And there's a lot of words in there that I don't even understand what you're saying. I don't have to. You know what's great for me is I've got people like you who have the credibility and the credentials to say all of these things. And I just have to open up that bottle, drink it. And I also have to open up a bottle and take a pill. And I just know that there's some really amazing things going on in my body. And I always say this, if I could unzip from my forehead to my pelvis and open up and see all the fascinating things that are happening. It's not that I would complain about things not working, because I don't. I know the science and I'm trusting that. But I would never complain about, I don't think things are happening, because I think that I can feel it, I know it, I see it in all the things. But I'm not one out there looking for something bad to happen and trying to find something wrong with something I know is happening. I'm just patient with the process. And I'm so thrilled that I've been patient with the process, Shaun. And I love the fact that you can come on here and validate the things that I say, because I don't have the degree. I don't have the letters behind my name, but I do have the friends like you who do have that validation that can come. And my friends and family are important to me, and I don't want to lose them. So I would never try to convince them to do something that I did not think was good for them. And this certainly,
yes.
As a cancer survivor, I'm very careful about the things that I put into my body and the things that I trust. And I've been doing this for 5.5 years, pretty much. Now this is all I do with activation, and I don't feel bad about it. So that kind of leads us now into what we're doing now. I've said it prior to recording this call that I look a lot different than I did 4 months ago, 5 months ago. I look fine, but I look so different. And the scale is not the measure that I go by. I've dropped a few here and there, but to feel the way I do, and to know that I can do all the things that I do at age 60 still and be able to work out and things, that's important to me. And I know that, you talked about your husband, excuse me, being concerned about us bringing on GLP-1 because he was comparing it to what's going on out there in the world with the shots and things. But just like in every fashion of LifeVantage, they take it to the next level. So they were late to the party for the collagen, but they blew it out of the water. The best will last. And this is what I'm feeling like right here. We didn't rush into that collagen, or if we didn't rush into the collagen game, we did not rush into the GLP-1 game. All of the studies were there. And so we've never really had a targeted weight management product, although people have, seen some significant weight loss. I have with people that I got on the gut health stack, because once their gut got better, then they were able to absorb the nutrients and such. And a lot of things happen with excessive weight then. But with the discovery of what the GLP-1 hormone does for the body, why should we be, and I already am, and I'm rightly so, excited for this newest activator that works synergistically with the others? Why should we be so excited? Can you tell us why we should be excited and why we should be patient?
Well, first of all, we are, as many of you know, we are swimming in today's United States of America in a toxic soup. We're being thrown, high fructose corn syrup in everything, artificial sweeteners, sucralose, aspartame. These things damage our cells and totally wipe out our GLP-1 production. It is just, we're basically having an epidemic of GLP-1 deficiency. So people sometimes say, people don't have, a deficiency of a shot or like Advil or something, or these weight loss shots. We don't have a deficiency of that. But what we do have is a deficiency in our body's production of the natural hormone. And there's two approaches to that. You can bring in something artificial that's synthetic and inject it in a way that is going to basically um, throw a bazooka at the problem and potentially have the result of the untoward or unanticipated results of slowing down gastric emptying so much that there's actually a sort of paralysis of the stomach, or you have constipation because you've slowed down the transit so much because you literally shot a bazooka gun at something that would have been fine with a BB gun. The other alternative is, and that does work. I mean, people lose weight, they lose their food noise, they lose cravings and all the things, but sometimes it's just too much, and there's a way to dose it down and all of that. But it's still coming at it from an exogenous, external, synthetic, artificial approach versus let's directly address the health of the gut, the L cells of the gut, the microbiome, and increase that to where the cells are functioning properly, and also at the same time activate through natural compounds that turn on genetic expression of the GLP-1 peptide. And that has basically the same beneficial effects as the exogenous addition of the synthetic, but you're bypassing and avoiding all of the things that come as a result of the artificial approach or the bazooka approach. The other thing that's really neat about the way that we activate is it's not only through directly activating GLP-1 peptide, but we're also activating the genes that produce the receptors. So we're having more GLP-1 receptors, more GLP-1 production. And so the two go together, activating the results of GLP-1 significantly. And we also turn down a gene that is responsible for a peptide DPP4 that destroys GLP-1. So it lasts longer. There's more of it. There's more receptors for it. And then we're also activating or feeding the gut microbes that produce the short chain fatty acids, the butyrate, that is exactly the fuel for the L cells. And that gives them more health, more ability to make GLP-1. And we get a great, great result with this. That's why I'm excited.
Well, I'm telling you, when you guys get excited and I sit and I listen and I watch you doctors and you're talking about this and I see the excitement, that's all I need to know. I don't have to go to get a degree to know that this is something special. And it truly is. It does. It further enhances that gut-brain axis, which is so important again, and we know that. How important it is that we are patient with the process, because Shaun, I had a gal say to me in my coaching group, she said, Sandy, I'm so glad that my body still trusts me after everything I've put it through. And I will tell you that I'm at the point now, it's the holiday season, and I am not reaching for the biggest sweater, the stretchiest pants, or anything because I put on excessive weight, because I'm not going to eat a sugar cookie. I'm not going to not do that if I want to do that. I really don't do that, but I'm trying to give you all permission to keep up your traditions and don't feel like you have to deprive yourselves. But I can't believe that I've not eaten how I normally eat, and I haven't gotten as many workouts, and I haven't gained any weight, and I'm not beating myself up every morning when I wake up, and I'm not thinking about January 1st, I'm going to have to make this massive change, because it's naturally happening. So what would you suggest? How important is it that we are patient with the process? Because for 7 weeks, my scale didn't move, but my inches were melting.
Yes, I love that. I do think that it's so important that we measure everything, measure, waist circumference, actually legs and arms, stomach, all the whole thing, get those measurements, but also pay attention to those non-scale wins, like your pants, buttoning up better, your butt looking better in your favorite jeans. There's all kinds of things that you can measure. You're walking faster, you're able to work out with more weight. That's one of the things I noticed, is that my weights at the gym went up considerably. And then I started to look at things like, the fat pad on the inside of your knee. Even if you're skinny, you have that. and I'm not skinny, but I have that. When you do a leg extension, you see this blob that's, on the inside of your knee, and you're like, well, what's that? I didn't know that was there. It's been fun to watch that just shrink, even though my numbers on the scale are pretty much, occasionally they've gone down 3 or 4 pounds after a trip. But then they, go up and down, up and down, up and down. And I'm pretty much where I was as far as the weight on average, but my body composition is much better. And you also have to remember that the results that we are shouting from the rooftops of an average weight loss of 9 pounds in 8 weeks and up to 25 pounds and 27% visceral fat loss at 12 weeks happened at 8 and 12 weeks, right? And it's only been out since October, 8th or something like that. So, we're coming up on, 8 weeks now. And also sometimes, you'll find yourself kind of arguing with your brain signals. Your GLP-1 is acting indirectly because of hormonal secretion on the GLP-1 receptors of your vagus nerve, and they're going up from nerve fibers to your brain and acting at the hippocampus and hypothalamus and brainstem. And your brain is telling you you're full, you're satisfied. But I found myself arguing with my brain because of my habits. And it's funny. Sometimes I let my brain win, and sometimes I wrestle my brain down to the ground, and I just do reach for whatever I was planning on reaching for. So, try to remember to not argue with the neurochemicals that are doing the work of the GLP-1 activator, and actually let yourself be guided by these new neuronal signals that are happening. Go easy on yourself. And if you do wrestle your brain to the ground and say, I'm going to reach for that sugar cookie because it's the habit, it's the holidays, it's what I do, give yourself grace and know that GLP-1 activation has your back and it'll be okay.
Well, I've been in the weight management sector for 12 years. And I finally had to, when this came out 2 weeks in, I had to raise the white flag and surrender to the fact that Sandy McClure is not as smart as her own GLP-1. It knows so much more. And I will attest to the fact that I am losing fat pockets. As all I can say, I am losing those in places. I have tried everything to lose those places and just thought, okay, Sandy, you're 60 now. Those are just going to be your friends forever. Friends in low places, maybe that song might be. But I'm noticing that those things are going away, and it's incredible to me. And I think perhaps I'm imagining it. I don't know. But I am seeing that, and I feel like my legs have always been big and linebacker legs. But even my daughters are like, Mom, your legs, that's where we notice it the most. And so again, those places that have been harder, I can't even imagine what would happen if I would work at this a little bit and get back into the workouts like I was doing. But I'm not going to beat myself up. Somebody had mentioned, Shaun, and I'd like for you to address this because it's been fascinating to all of us, that many of us didn't know how many toxins are stored in those fat cells and those liver cells. And so can you kind of address what happens? Of course, we need to make sure that we're drinking water, and I don't want to forget.
Oh, yes.
You need to address that, but can you kind of touch on what's happening there and why we're being able to release those toxins from there?
Absolutely. So when your body ingests, these terrible compounds that we're swimming around in, all the endocrine disruptors and the PFAS and the, just you name it, glyphosate, all the things, these toxins are usually fat soluble, which is actually really good for us because now our body is able to sequester them inside the safest place that it can find in our whole body, which is in our white fat cells. Okay. If it sequesters these toxins in our brains and in our livers, which also have fat, okay, and some of them do go there, but the biggest, easiest target for, getting these fat soluble toxins a place to just kind of hang out is our white fat stores. So as we are, eating less and eating more healthful, foods and eating less of the calorie dense, greasy fast foods and things that, we've kind of become accustomed to craving. We don't crave them anymore. We eat less of them. We're ultimately, as a result, as long as we don't wrestle our brain to the ground every day, going to be consuming fewer calories. And fewer calories, takes 3,500 calories in a week, which is 500 calories a day, and you're going to lose a pound of fat. Well, with that fat loss, there go all the toxins. However, um, fat, you lose fat in your breath. It's carbon dioxide and water because the molecule of fat is like carbons and hydrogens and oxygens. And I can't give you the formula. It's like C6H something, O something. And when you breathe at night or during the day, and when you exercise, when you're metabolizing fat, it's leaving your body in the form of CO2. However, the toxins that were in the fat are going to leave your body through a river of water in your poop, your pee, your sweat, and your tears. Okay. And so if you're not drinking enough water to get them out, they may settle back in to some other fat cells. Okay. So it's really, really, really important to drink a lot of water because your body is detoxing, and the way that the toxins leave your body is on a river of water in your urine, your feces, your sweat, and your tears.
I'm so glad that you said that. And, I don't mind talking crap. I don't mind, because you know what? I think about my trash, and I think about sometimes the food that's thrown in the trash. And if we did not take that trash out every day or every other day, can you imagine what's happening in there? You have to think about that same thing with your body. And so I'm carrying this with me everywhere I go. I have water all the time. And I will tell you, if you can just do one thing, is to increase making sure that you're drinking half your weight in ounces in water every single day. Get rid of the soda. You'd be amazed. I love, Shaun, that you're talking about nutrition. I think that that is something, even my doctors, I feel like I'm educating them more on nutrition than they are me. But truly, you eat a lot more food that is so much better for you. You can, if you like to just chew and you like the feeling of that, just switch out your nutrition, because a couple of pieces of pizza and a glass of beer, or who really has one glass of beer and just a piece of pizza, you could have a huge plate or several plates full of food that would be way more, that'd be way better for you. Number one, we're not garbage cans, and we don't need to feed our bodies garbage. But it is those empty calories that we're putting in our bodies, and now we're not as hungry, so we are looking for more nutritional food. Can you just put your stamp on that, especially from someone whose body needed a lot of nutrition to get through those marathons and such?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Whatever you put in your mouth, and your body, your gut is going to tell your brain to crave. And I got a funny um, study to talk to you about. So you don't even need to taste it. So, you say, oh, I crave sweets because I like the sweet taste. If you lost your sense of taste, or if somebody were to infuse sweets into your gut through a tube, you would automatically start seeking out more of the sweets. It's just your body has nutrient sensors, your gut has nutrient sensors, and their job is to say, this is what's coming in, this is what's available, let's go get some more of that. And so we can use this opportunity with GLP-1 activation, and not only that direct activation, but the indirect activation through the microbiome, to take this time to start putting the more nutrient dense foods in your body. And you're going to find that it's not only the GLP-1 system that's going to be helping you, but it's going to be your own gut brain axis that's helping you, because now your gut is telling your brain to tell your body to go seek out these same foods. So you put in, like, for instance, you can blend kale and maybe a couple of sprigs of broccoli and some blueberries in the morning in a big jug of water, and put it in, a couple of mason jars, and sip on that throughout the day, or the next day it'll keep. Now you're getting a ton of nutrition in that, very few calories in that, and you're not tricking, but you're hacking your body's own gut brain axis into, greens are good. Let's get some more greens in. So you're going to find that, food becomes fuel instead of a lifestyle. People who have deficiency in their own production of GLP-1. And I'm going to say their own production of GLP-1. It's not you're not missing the synthetics. You don't have a deficiency in the synthetics. You have a deficiency in your own body's production of GLP-1. People who are in that situation think about food constantly. They wake up and they're thinking about what they're going to have for breakfast. They go to bed thinking, gosh, maybe I didn't, maybe I should get another little snack before bed. It's because that's what they've been doing. And so their body is telling them, number one, what we've been eating a lot of, let's get more of it. And number two, that GLP-1 system, peptide is not in an abundant enough state to quiet the food noise. So it is, you definitely want to play into the fact that your body is going to start seeking out more nutritious foods. Feed your body that so that your body can help you seek that out more.
I love that. And I've said it before, abs are made in the kitchen. Not, I mean, I can work out and do all the sit-ups and whatever, but when I really pay attention to good nutrition, that's when I see some more tone in my abs, even at age 60. And I just really believe that your body craves what's in your blood. When we start putting those things in our bodies are going to naturally crave it. You feed it full of sugar, you're going to crave that. What happens, when we eliminate things, after a while, we don't even care about them. But the minute we introduce them again, then our body starts craving that. So give your body the things that you really want to. Like I said, the sugar cookies, I used to love them. I don't have any desire for a sugar of any kind of processed sugar now at all. I don't, it doesn't make me feel good, and I really don't like it. And I love that little concoction that you talked about, Shaun. That would be great with the Mind Body Enhance. That would be something really great to mix that with. Oops, I need to unmute you again.
I'm so used to my dogs barking and being able to mute. But yes, absolutely. It's just, I love to mix that vanilla powder in a ton of different things. And I've never mixed it in my green drink, but that's a great idea. I mix it in my Axio. I mix it in my prebiotic. I mix it in a protein shake sometimes. I don't often do a protein smoothie, but sometimes I do. I mix it in cocoa. I mix it in hot cocoa. I've mixed it in oatmeal. I've mixed it in just a little bit of water, so it's more like a slurry. And when I drink it like that, it's almost like a milkshakey kind of dessert flavor to me. So it's been great. Sometimes I'm like so not hungry that I don't even want to take it. And I have actually skipped days because I've been so unhungry that I didn't want to make myself drink that because I didn't feel like I should. But again, that's me fighting with the system. Don't fight the system. Don't be like me. Don't fight the system. Just let it guide you. Let it help you. Help it help you.
Yeah, I agree. And taste is never a thing with me. If I know something's good for me, I don't care if it tastes like a leather boot. I'm gonna take it because I know what's good for me. And so, with that, Shaun, it's been a pleasure visiting with you tonight. Is there anything that you would like to kind of end on? Maybe your favorite thing or what you have to look forward to? I know that we've had a wait period and such for some people who've been on the Mind Body. We're getting back, and pretty soon we'll never have to have the conversation about a restock ever. That just attests to how great this product is. But I feel like we're almost there. What would be one thing that you'd like to close with?
Well, one thing I did not mention in this talk so far is that in studies, GLP-1 has been shown to be very anti-inflammatory and neuroprotective, as well as neuroregenerative. Increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is pretty darn cool. If you don't know what that is, just look it up. It's pretty exciting. And know that if you were on it and are waiting for your replenishment, just know that the things that it did in terms of your cravings, in terms of your, food noise, those changes that you made as a result of that are going to stick with you because you've been doing those new habits for the last several weeks. So just have faith that you have, adjusted your microbiome into a healthier level. You've adjusted your brain signaling into a more, healthy craving so to speak, or losing the unhealthy cravings. And just know that that will carry you through until you get it again. And soon we'll be able to just share it with the world because we'll have enough. I hope that we can just tell everybody about it. But it's just been so exciting to see what adding this in, and it actually helps people realize what activation is, because sometimes when we're talking about mitochondria and we're talking about oxidative stress and glutathione, all these things that people don't talk about in everyday parlance, but when we are activating this peptide that they've been hearing about in the news and every beauty shop conversation on the planet, now they get what we're doing, and now they get what activation is. It is a game changer.
Yeah, I would have to agree.